Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, believe me, I'm very up to date on the world news because I'm looking and reading a lot of different news coming from various sources, many countries. And you know what I don't see, actually I don't see at all. I don't see any article or, I don't know, besides this one that I found, because, for obvious reasons, you're going to find out why, talking about the Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 attacks. It's like it disappeared from the mass media all of a sudden. It's not in the mass media. But the things that happened in Iran or, certain things that occurred months ago, they're still there. They even talk about Kanye West. Still talking about that everywhere. They talk about many other subjects that are really not important. But here, two pipelines with energy that is necessary for the survival of a country, which is Germany, right? Nobody talks about it anymore. It's like it disappeared. Nothing to see here. Why is that? They don't give us an update on the investigations. They don't give us anything else. It's like it's quiet. Why is it quiet? Nobody points fingers at anybody. So it's a very suspicious disinterest by the mass media and coming from the weasel politicians. And that's very suspicious again. Why is that so? So this article comes from Sputnik and it's from today, November 1st, 2022. Silence of European states about terrorist attack on Nord Stream is unacceptable. Such actions cannot be left unanswered. They found the answer yet? It's been a month and a few days. The inaction of European states concerning the terrorist attack on the Nord Stream pipelines is unacceptable. Imagine if those pipelines would have been American or French or British. Between, I don't know, those countries would be like bad as hell. So the inaction of European states concerning the terrorist attacks on the Nord Stream pipelines is unacceptable, and such actions cannot be left unanswered, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Tuesday. And I'm quoting, "Our special services have information which indicates that the coordination of the attack on Sevastopol Bay was carried out by UK military consultants. There is also evidence that the UK is involved in sabotage, in other words, a terrorist act against key energy infrastructure, which not just Russian but international infrastructure," Peskov said. Russia will prepare a response to the silence of European countries, the spokesman said. Well, I do not know if indeed the UK was responsible for those attacks on Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2. But these guys come with a claim. They provide evidence, not to me, not over there. So anybody asked, say, okay, Russia, come over here, come in front of everyone, like United Nations, and present your evidence. That's how you do, don't you? But nobody seems to be interested in the evidence, if there's any, or at least the case the Russians might be willing to present. It's very suspicious, just put it like this. And besides, it's been a month and some days since the attacks occurred. Investigations started. I mentioned again, it's not much to be found over there. After all, there's not many things you have to figure out. I mean, what, some communication, you say? What, flying objects, swimming objects, explosions? What else? Go and investigate over there in the bottom of the sea? Okay, that's been done. You had a month and a half, or a month and many days. Communication between people? You can go back in time with whatever you have. Other than that, and how long are you going to wait? How long will you give this investigation? Forever? It's no urgency. The lack of urgency and the discussion, and it's baffling. And it's because it's about Russia. It's not about anybody else. And they even stopped blaming Russia. I mean, at least a little conversation. I mean, talk about it. Seems like they're not interested in pointing the finger to Russia at all, to anybody. Are they fudging now the evidence? Are they creating the evidence? Are concocting the whole investigative report? Will they bring it and say, okay, now we make it like this and we go up and down, that's how you do it, and you make it make sense, you read it from here and then you go from here and left, right, and you make sure it all makes sense. And there's no holes in it, and then you present it, and then you make the point that it was the Russians, and then you bring your evidence. But what if nobody wants to listen to you? But no, they will want to listen to you if it's about Russia. I don't know, it's just, that's another example. I think that's another example where the mass media, and not only the mass media, people in general, can make out of a very uninteresting subject, make it the most important subject overnight, and the most urgent and serious subject non-existent. I remember when I first read this thing and I stuck in my mind and I paid attention. I was maybe 17, I think, something like that, 17, and I read the book written by a guy in 1922, 1923, 1924 about that, and those times. And he said in that book that while he was in Vienna, he realized that the mass media, the newspapers in Vienna, which he said was owned by certain kind of individuals, would destroy a presentable individual in 1 week, or make a very important newsworthy incident or situation disappear, like not important, by ignoring it, and make out of a weasel the most important guy, cover for him, and in 2 weeks he was the most presentable and respected guy in Vienna. And he said, I happen to know that person. So he was like, how is that possible? Or create from a little problem, by repetition and all these words and all this, make it the most important thing. And everybody was, oh my God, this is the most important thing. Okay, what's the percentage in the population that really is involved in that thing? Not even 1%. And all of a sudden the whole society is in problems. What kind of toilets, restrooms what signs we're gonna put on the restroom? For what's the percentage? How many are they? You know what I'm talking about, right? Without saying it. The same, not important. Well, it's important for some, for a tiny minority. And we all like, it's the biggest problem in the world, man. Oh my God. And it's only here. It's only here and some other two misguided other societies. Nothing in the rest of the world. Only here, and it's a tiny minority. And it's a big problem. Everyone, yeah, man, what do you think about this issue? And they go and ask the Africans, the presidents of Africa, what do you think about this issue? And they're like, there's no issue for us. It's unimportant. Move on. Oh my God. Or don't lecture us. This is our culture. We don't impose our culture on your culture. And since the Africans are black, you can't really call them names, really, because otherwise you'll be running against this guy's ideology. Yeah, that's happened, and they can't call them anyway. They don't dare. But if the person would be, let's say, the president of Romania, would say the same thing, he would be called this, he would be called this, he would be called that, he would be called this. So, yeah, anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.